Hey guys, so I want to show you how I created this landing page using the new Infusionsoft builder and how you can create it also in less than 20 to 25 minutes. So let's get started on how to creating this page. We'll get started by creating a page from scratch so you know how you can start something from scratch. I'll start by clicking on the name and start typing, giving it a simple name that I can remember for my campaign. Next, I want to personalize the page to my brand, my identity, my colors, my typography. So the first thing I will do is I'll pick the right fonts that match the look and feel I'm going after. And I'm just picking the right font sizes at the moment that match the brand that I'm going after. So these look good. Next step is picking the brand logo. So I can upload the logo for my business or for my web page from my computer. What I would suggest is if you have a vector like an SVG image or a PNG image that is transparent, it would definitely stand out more. And I have some PNG logo images that are on my computer, and I'll just pick a random one that kind of looks good, that goes after that landing page design that I'm creating. So this looks good. I'll use this and click next. Once I enter the new landing page builder, it'll start me from scratch. I'll pick a single column layout and I'll change the background color of the whole section. So I'll pick the color that I want. I'm going after that green. And one thing to notice is as I pick these colors, it also creates a whole color palette for me so that I can reuse the same colors over and over again throughout my page. Then I'll click on the section to add a logo, but before I do that, I want to go and make some adjustments. I'll go inside the section and into the column, and I'll quickly resize the width of the column like so, just so that I can also align it right in the center, and that's where I want to drop my logo. So I'll click and drag on the logo, and there it is. Now I can go ahead and add a new row in my page. Add some text. And I'm just adding some marketing copy for the page. Once I'm done with this, we'll pick the style of it. So I'll select the title for the font style, center it, and let's add some more sub-header copy. I'll select the font and I'll just change it to subtitle so it looks a lot smaller, and you remember how we selected the font sizes in the previous setup step. So let me just make some adjustments where I want the title to be a bit smaller than what I decided to pick. So there, it looks a lot better, and I'll just make the logo appear a little bit bigger by clicking on it and resizing. Now let's add a row with two columns. On one side I want to add maybe the copy of the page, and on the other side I'd probably want to add a form that people can use to fill out on the page. And as I get done, I'll pick the heading as the style for that copy that I have. Next, what I want to do is I want to go into Manage Layout and go back out and pick the row. In there I have the column, and in column 1 I want to add another row, and essentially we'll build a quick bullet list right here. So what I'm doing now is going inside each column and adjusting the width of the column so I can drop an icon right there. So now I'll pick an icon. Next, let's resize the icon to a smaller size, so we'll pick maybe 4 and we'll experiment with it. I'll drop some text right next to it and I'll change the copy on it. Now I want to take the top line that I wrote and maybe change it, make it look like a header of some sort, or maybe just change the size of it. So I'll select that and I'll just make it normal, and I'll make the entire thing normal actually. And I'm just selecting the header, making it a little bit bigger, size 24, and make it bold. And the regular copy, I want to change the colors just a slight bit, so there. Next, let's go back to the icon, and there is about 1400 icons to pick from the icon library. So you can pick the right icon that makes your message stand out. So I'm going to look for something that's web related. I'm going to look in different font libraries that are available until I find the right icon, and maybe I'll look for something else. Or there, that looks nice. Next, what I want to do is, you can see how there's a row and column. So instead of recreating the whole bullet list, what I can do is I can just click on duplicating the row, and I'll probably duplicate it one more time. And then if I see I have 3 rows, and now all I have to do is go in each and update the icon and update the copy eventually. That looks nice. Now we'll just pick the third icon. Idea here is to pick the right icon that matches your copy that you're going to do. So I'll go ahead and update the copy now. What I'd like to do next is maybe give the form its own background, and the way I can do that is going back into the row and the column in which the form is, click on its setting and change the color of the background. So I'll pick the light green. This also makes the form stand out a little bit essentially. And now let me just add a few fields like so. There's obviously all the custom fields also available for you to pick from at the bottom. I can simply click on the field and I can reorder it. I can click on each of them and maybe I can turn the label off. Yeah. And there. Next, let's talk about some tags. So all your tags are available. It is really important that you tag your forms so you can run your automations, and that's what I'm doing. I'm selecting a few tags, and if there's a tag that I don't see, I can create one on the fly without having to go back inside of Infusionsoft. I can create them right over here. Now let's add some text, a supporting copy, if I may, for the form so it becomes more enticing and appealing to the user. Change the style to maybe heading. Next, what I want to do is change the width of the form. So I'll go into the layout, click on the column in which the form is, and resize it down to maybe a 4 or a 5. Let's align it to the right and go back to the previous column, the first column, and let's adjust the width of it and maybe make it to 6. Yep, that looks good. It also creates a little gap. And let's go ahead and add some more text underneath it, supporting text that reduces your visitors' anxiety. It's pretty much telling them that we don't spam you. I'll go ahead and change the text of it to normal, maybe make it a bit smaller so that it's not in their face, align it to the center. You also have an option of designing the form itself. So we'll go to the form design and you can pick from different styles of how you want the form to be displayed. Once you're comfortable with the one that you like, let's move on to the next step. What I want to do next is I want to add a new image right down there, and an image that is pretty much a down arrow that tells the visitor that there is more to read before they sign up in case they are skeptical about what they're signing up for. So I'll pick an image from my computer. So this looks good, and let's just resize it. So instead of resizing the image, I want to resize the column in which it is so that there is a better precision. So I'll make it small like that, and I'll align it in the center. Next, I want to add a new section at the bottom, so I can click on add section right there, and there's plenty of pre-made blocks and sections available that you can simply add. I can select one, for example this one, and it just adds it right there, and I can click on the delete button and to delete it. What I really want to do is find a feature block. So there is a filtering capability where you can filter through different types of blocks, and the one that I like, I don't think I see it in here. Maybe that one. Let's just add it, and let's just customize this to our liking. I want to get rid of this headline over here, and I'll right click on this empty area and delete it. And this is somewhat what I'm looking for, so let me just update the copy. So we'll go ahead and get rid of all the unnecessary items. I don't think I want it to have 4 bullet points. Maybe 3 is plentiful. So I'll go back in the section and pick the row in which the bullet points are. I'll go back to column 2, and then in there I'll just remove all the unnecessary bullet points that I don't need. And there, perfect. Next, I want to change the image that came with that section, and there is over 500,000 or more images for you to pick from. So I'll search for something related to consulting or marketing of some sort and pick through the image. All these images are completely royalty free for you to pick from. So I'll go ahead and pick that, and there, this one looks good. Now let's get rid of the button over here. I'll just click on delete. I'll right click on this empty area, click on delete, and I'll just add a new row, and with 2 sections. This one I want to create like a zigzag pattern where there is text on the other side and an image on the opposite side of the previous area, so it creates that little zigzag reading pattern. It tends to convert higher when you have a zigzag reading pattern with images and text crossing each other. And I'm just picking a image that matches, and there. We'll just write some copy over here. One thing that's very important when writing a copy on the page is writing it in small chunks so that it's readable and absorbable for a reader, whether they're a fast reader or they're just glancing through the website. If you change the size of the text or write it in small chunks, it makes it easy for them to absorb what they want to read. As you can see, what I'm doing here is not only changing the sizes of the paragraphs or the copy that I'm writing, but also the color, so that it creates this almost like a pattern that people can follow as they're reading, and it brings their attention automatically to certain items on your page. Next, let's add another section, and I'll add a feature block with a few What I'm looking for is like a 3-column look, something that kind of like this one right here, where it's a 3-column with some icons, some imagery to them. So we do have plenty of pre-made blocks, and I'll pick the one. I think this one is pretty good, and that one looks good. So let's customize it to our liking. What I want to do next is replicate these 3 columns into maybe 6 columns. And so what I'll do is I'll go back from section 1 all the way to section 3, and then in that row I can just duplicate this row like so. And now I have 6 benefits almost that I can add to the page. And as I'm adding all the different benefits over here, idea is to give them more and more reasons why. These are the hot buttons that your visitor cares about the most. So give them all the reasons why, objections that they may have. Let's reduce them by giving all the different benefits on why they should sign up for this service. Next, let's just change the background color to kind of create a separation. And I'll add a new color. I want to add like a really light tint of greenish color, something along these lines. So I'll find the one. Okay, this looks nice. Okay, so we'll just save this, and now we have one more color added to our color palette. We can change this later as we want. I'll add another section. This one I want to add a video block in here. So idea behind this is going into it, going into the row and resizing the column to maybe a smaller size, maybe an 8 or a 6, and then aligning in the center. And this is where I can drop my video or maybe a marketing message above it, and then I can add a video. Let's see what we can do here. Add some title on top like so, and let's just update the style of it to a subheading and then add the title. You can also notice that I never have to highlight the entire text to change its copy or anything. I can just have my cursor in one line and it changes the style of it from header 1 to subheadline to normal text. Next, I want to kind of replicate the copy that we have up there to maybe add some logos underneath it. So I can clone the text just like that, and I can change its order. So I can bring it down below the video. Let me just see what's going on here. So I got the text. I'll just cut it out from here. I don't need it, and I'll delete that. I'll add it underneath, and then I'll just paste it. Because I cut and paste, it brought over the formatting for the text. And we'll just change that, and I'll just change the copy a little bit to match what I'm about to tell my customers. It's pretty much some logos that we will add underneath this. Essentially what I'm doing is letting the customers know that we are a trusted brand on this landing page, and then add a few logos. So I can add a row and start adding maybe three logos should be fine, and I'll find some logos that I have on my computer. First I need to drag image right there, and then I can just replace those images by clicking there and uploading a new logo. Just trying to align all the images so they look right proportion, so that it looks visually appealing altogether. Let's add a testimonial quickly. Let's also create a visual separation so that it stands out and makes your page look really nice and well branded all in all. Next, let's add a blank section, and I want to make this into more of a frequently asked questions section. This serves a good purpose for addressing any objections that your visitors may have when signing up. Let's go back to section 6, and then we'll go into the row and into the column, or in the row we'll just add a new row, and we'll make it a 2-column look so that we can divide questions into 2 different blocks. But let me start with 1, and idea behind this would be to create a column, and within that column I want to add a text, and what I'll do is change that as a question. What I essentially want to do is being able to write 1 question and 1 answer, and then replicate it 4 times so I can put it in multiple columns and so on and so forth. And by the way, if you're tired of looking at me just typing at things, you can always opt to skip ahead a little bit until I have something finalized, and you can see where I'm going with it. Now that I have the column, I can kind of replicate it. So now I have the 2, and now I can replicate the row like that, and there. Perfect. So now we have a really nice frequently asked questions section, and I can just go ahead and change all the text for each question. Now let's go ahead and add maybe a new call to action, and I think that one looks really nice, and we can update the sizing on it. Let's change the background of it, let's change the copy, and eventually what we want to do is make it so that when they click on this button over here, they scroll up to the very top of the page. So I'll write down the closing argument to seal the deal, and maybe support it with a supporting statement underneath this, just like that. And what we will do next is connect this button that says sign up today at the bottom to the top block, and I'll show you how that could be done really easily. Okay, so over here I can change the text on the button, get started today, and then what I want to do is I want to name this section, so I can name it, let's say, lead gen, right? I'll name that one maybe like a benefit, and then scroll down to this one, we'll call it more benefits. Give this one a name. Call this a testimonial block. And the purpose of naming the block is it's easier to remember which section you are trying to edit. I'll call this one a call to action, like so. And now if you click on manage layout, and if I go out, you can see that every single block is named with its own identity. And now I can click on the link. I can change the style of the button to match the theme of the page. I can also make it hollow or full, change the style of it. I think that looks good. Maybe add some drop shadow to it. And then I can click on the properties of it and link to another section, and I can link it to lead gen, just like that. Now what happens is anytime a user clicks on that button, and let's just quickly go through what we have created so far and see if there is any adjustments that we need to make anywhere on the page. Everything looks good. Let's go ahead and add maybe like a footer. I'll scroll down, find the footer, and let's just select a simple footer to finish the page off. Next we want to go to the next step by clicking on the next step button at the bottom and find the form redirect option. This is where we can select whether we want the user to go to a URL or go to a thank you page. So I'll make a quick thank you page. Add the logo, add some text, maybe even add an icon that kind of represents like a check mark saying your information is collected, and I can just adjust a few items, so I can go in the row, column, and make small adjustments. You guys can skip through this process if you want. I'm just trying to be a perfectionist over here at this point. So we're just making quick adjustments, aligning everything, maybe make this icon a bit smaller. What also makes a great thank you page is adding a personal video. So I'll go ahead and add a video over here, thanking your users, visitors, with a thank you video really drives higher conversion. It builds that trust and builds that kind of opportunity to create an upsell opportunity within the page. So I can literally create a thank you video with a button for them to opt into my webinar or something like that, and link them to another landing page that I have created. So that's what I'm going to do over here, and quickly style the button over here quickly, yep, and make it larger. So let's book a session together or something. It's a nice way to create a lead gen but also make an upsell opportunity from here. And click on the next step, and then over here you can drop in your JavaScript code for tracking on Facebook or Google, and then click on the go live button. And what this essentially does is makes your page go live, and you can see how fast it loaded. It is SSL ready, meaning it is completely secured on our secure servers, and I can see how beautiful it looks like on any device. So this kind of gives you the confidence that no matter where your traffic is coming from, your page will always look great on any device, and it is driven for conversion. It does load fast, and all the small changes that you can make to your page. I'll just kind of scroll through entire page again just to see if there's any small changes that need to be done. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or make any suggestions or any improvements that could be made. And hope you guys enjoyed your rest of your day. Thank you.